Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Living in the Limelight, an Anton Scholl and Friends podcast where we discuss music from the artist and fan perspective. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to another episode of Living in the Limelight. I'm your host, Anton Scholl, and with me today is the man, the myth, the legend, Jonnie Tumbleweed. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. A man, myth, a legend in my own mind, right?
There you go. Well, I got to tell you, before we start, I just want to say that I say that for good reason because, there's a lot of people that know of you, but maybe not know you because, we'll get into your time at the Blooze. But, a lot of us bands have played there. A lot of us bands appreciate everything that you did because you were one of the very few owners of a club or establishment that treated the bands right, did some great sound for them, made them sound good, but just overall, helped out a lot of bands out there. So I think there's a lot of people out there that certainly appreciate you and now want to get to know you. So I'll start out with that.
I appreciate it, man. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about you then. Let's talk about how you got started out in music, where you're from, and then we'll go from there.
Wow. How did I get started? How'd you get started in music there, Tumbleweed? Way back when I was a kid, I sang chorus. It's, not kindergarten, but elementary school. And then I started trying to play jamming with kids on their parents' stuff, when I was going through junior high and high school. Right out of high school, I put a band together and ended up moving up to Lake Tahoe and I met a band up there and started playing with those guys, and we did an EP and got some management behind us back in the 80s and took off on the road and started living life, man. And it was just what an experience that whole deal. Yeah. Been singing pretty much my whole life. Yeah.
Now, the thing on the road.
I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I was born with a silver microphone in my mouth, I guess you might say.
There you go. Right. Oh, exactly. Now, how was it? Now, you said that was in the 80s. How was that traveling in that time? And like, how far would you go? Would you do like the states, like the 5 states around the area? Or how far would you be traveling? Yeah. And what was
back then we would what we would do is we'd go through a booking agent out of Colorado, Denver, Colorado, Sammy, my AME, and Mike Zizzo. And they would put us on the road. We'd play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then we had a day to get to where we're going and then set up on Monday and then play Tuesday. It was a 5-day engagements every town that we went to. We traveled from Havre, Montana to Houston, Texas. And with the record that we had done, we tried to sell records and tried to, and open a few bar concerts, if you will, and just got a taste for that. And how was it? Gas was cheaper for sure.
Yeah,
you'd get a 24-foot U-Haul and fill it up full of gear, lights and sound, and grab a sound man and a light man and get in a van, and here we go. And we'd just live on the road. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Well, at least you had that. I'm hearing all these stories about, everybody piling into a van, a small van, and traveling from state to state and having to sell merchandise to make the hotel room or sleeping in the van. A lot of crazy stories of people out there on the road.
For the cost of living, we did get paid okay for it. We were at a break even. We sustained life. We paid our gas. We bought our hotel rooms. We had food, and that's it. It was, and we were out. We probably took maybe a month, 30 days, maybe a couple of weeks off a year, maybe. We were just out there. Yeah, we shot. Mainly, the circuit was Havre, Montana to Houston, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Crazy.
But still, having that experience, that's something that you can't take away. That's something that a lot of bands always think about. It is difficult to do A lot of people think, oh, that's the rock star life. And, but it is difficult. It's rewarding once you get on stage, but the in between is what a lot of people don't think about, or what a lot of people don't realize,
Yeah. It's hard to keep a
Mhm.
band together, I mean, everybody's got their own idea, and there's always one guy in the band that just wants to be the troublemaker,
Exactly. Ain't
It's,
that the truth?
I used to say, I don't want to do a promo picture, because as soon as we take a promo picture back in the day and get 8x10s made up, start sending them out, we'd have to get rid of somebody in the band. And it was just
Yeah.
like, it was kind of an omen. No, I don't want to do any promo shots.
Right. Very true. Oh God, yes, I do remember the days of that. That was some fun times. All right, so now, when did you come to Arizona?
Around 1990. Yeah, somewhere around
Oh,
1990 or so. And I was living in Denver, Colorado, and a buddy of mine that pretty much rode with in Hollywood when I lived out there. He had moved here, and he said, back then, Johnny G, you need to come out here, man. It's like the old Wild Wild West. People run around their bikes, motorcycles, 6-shooters, and it's crazy down here. And no helmet law. You need to come here, So I was like, okay, and I rolled down here and haven't left since. Yeah.
wow.
Like
Nice. So then what got you started out in, let's jump to when you bought the Blooze. What prompted that?
Everybody wants to own a bar, man. I mean, everybody's thought about. I sure wish I owned a bar, man. Look at all the fun that guy's having. He's having a drink.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's all great, But I had the opportunity. I was working at the Hideaway Grill, Cave Creek. I'm presently hang there for the weekends and do stuff and events and stuff and MC shows out there. Being at the Hideaway, I met a lot of people, and I ran into a bunch of people, and this one lady offered me her bar to buy, and I came up with some back dough and went in and signed my life away and just started making it go, And
Nice.
it was definitely a learning curve for sure.
And for those that do remember, playing there, it was one of the few places where the sound was really good and the bands were actually paid and treated well. And, again, that's the thing that we appreciate so much about that. But then you were doing that for years, right? And then you decided that that was it. You just were moving on from there. It just, was it, was it not what
Yeah.
you wanted?
Um, I was making an okay living, but I was only square footage wise, I couldn't get over a certain, I don't know. I for some reason, I couldn't just get to the hump that I really wanted to be at.
Mhm.
And my health was bad. I was drinking a bunch. I mean, I was, I was smoking like a madman. It seemed like I kind of lost myself, if you will, for a little bit, because for right towards the end, because I felt like I was making everybody else happy but me. And when I'd smile, I'd be like, but now when I actually smile, I actually smile. But
Yeah.
it actually feels good to smile.
Right.
And I had to get out of there. I had to get out of there for mainly because I had to get me back. And one good thing is I got me back now, and I like me again. So it's all good, man. I like
Hey, that's what it's all about. It's about being happy. We've all realized that over the years and everything that we do, that it's about being happy. But I'll say, and I know I speak for a lot of bands out there, we appreciate what you had done for us. I was in the Rush tribute band Anthem at the time, and we were doing shows out there, and just what a place. I mean, the sound, when you came up and did sound, and I'm not sure of your sound engineering background, but you had a great board, you had great speakers, you had a great ability to make the band sound good, and not just for the bands themselves, but for the audience. It was a great sound. So we we as musicians certainly appreciate you for that. So again, we thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I got to say, you know, when you came walking in to be the singer for the Rush tribute, between you and me, I just, well, between everybody now, but
Yeah.
I thought to myself, so this guy right here is going to sing Rush? Really? And you got up and started doing it. And I was like, whoa, I was thoroughly impressed, and I was floored because I've been a vocalist my whole life. And I'm one of those kind of guys. Okay, let me see you hit that. Wow, he hit that. Let me see you hit that one. Oh, he hit that one too. You know, and I gained a lot of respect for you, man. It was,
yeah, appreciate that. It's you know, the problem with a lot of the things that I was doing too was, this is not the look of a rock star type of a thing. You know what I mean? Like I used to have the long hair. I used to have all of that, but then when I started singing and doing my thing as a stand-up singer, it was very difficult because I used to play the bass, so I always had something to hide behind. But when I got into the Rush tribute, there was like I didn't need to play. I was just going to sing. But then I started feeling like, you know, I don't look like them. I don't act like him. I don't, you know, but I can sound like him. So hopefully that'll be okay. But I do know that there was always that thing of like, whenever I would do the Rush, or I even did like a Zeppelin tribute, things like that. There was a lot of people were like, well, he doesn't look anything like them. But, you know, so yeah, it was a little bit weird when I see the things going on now, everybody dressing up, everybody wearing wigs. Just something I was never really into doing, but I tell you what, I had a great time at it, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, that's why they say a lot of them are, you know, tributes or a musical tribute.
Yeah,
you know? And
true.
That way you don't. I mean, if they had people that had to genreize themselves, you know, you could get up on stage and you didn't really have to put on the wigs and all that stuff. But if you close your eyes, you're like, wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That was definitely fun. Definitely fun. All right. So then you got out of that and you started, you know, it's intriguing to me because you do like, I guess what we would call like MC work now.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting up on and working with bands and doing all of that. How did that evolve then from you kind of like were doing the rock star thing as far as like going out and touring and playing, and then you were owning a bar, probably still living that rock star thing of like staying up all night, drinking, doing things of that nature, you know, and then you got out of that. What was hey, I want to MC these things now?
Well, it was a culture shock for me to sell the bar because I had lived for 12 years, 7 days a week, eat, sleep, and drink the blues.
Yeah.
And so, like I said earlier, you know, by losing myself a bit, I had to get my head back on, and I went, inherited a piece of property up in Lake Tahoe from my folks, bless their souls. And when I was up there, I had to do a lot of soul searching, and I was like, okay, what are you going to do now? You know, and so when I was up there, I got a real quick job, not a quick job, but I started working out on Lake Tahoe because I fished that area. I was born to fish and forced to work. So up in Lake Tahoe, I fished all these lakes up there, and I just loved it up there. In any event, I got a job working as a sport fishing guide, like a deckhand for the Tahoe Sport Fishing Company. And I thought, okay, maybe I could do this, and I could, they say, you know, that what's that saying? I think, do something you love. If you love, do something you love. I think, what is that saying?
If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, is what I always say.
Correct. Yeah. So that's what I thought. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do this, and I did it. And then after the end of the first summer that I was up there, after I sold the bar, I told the guy, you know, I want to do this, and he goes, okay, well, you know, what do you want to do? I want to be a captain of a boat. Okay, well, you got to go to school and learn how to be a captain. I'm like, well, how does that take? He goes, well, you know, if you want to do it, go do it. You know, you got all summer, you got a winter to make it go now. So I'm like, okay. So I came back to Phoenix and got online and I started doing the Coast Guard boogie, and got all the materials, the study materials, and all that. Saw they had kind of like an online course, and I got on the online course and I studied for like 5 or 6 months, 5 months, something like that, 8 hours a day. Locked myself in a room and just did it, and learned how to be this fishing captain. And long story short, I went back the next year and they said, well, we're glad you passed the test and all that stuff, and went to school and yada yada. So we all the captains came back, and so you could deckhand again and then fill in captain. I'm like, you told me that I was going to be able to just jump right in and get a boat because I'd already proven myself. Yeah, well, that's what we're going to have to do now. Yeah, I really wanted to work for you, but I'm not going to now. So peace out.
Right.
So I thought, now what am I going to do? And I thought, okay, I don't want to be in a band again. And I always emceed at my own place, and I've been doing it and talking on a microphone my whole life. I actually got a gig in Lake Havasu, and there was a show out there that I did, and I thought, I'm going to make a run at this. So I did some more, and I started working at the Hideaway again. And when I was working at the Hideaway, I'd talk on the microphone out there, let people know what's going on, information, got some t-shirts over here. The food's really killer. This next band's playing so-and-so. And I just really fell in love with that deal. And then I got another gig, and then I ended up saying, you know what, I'm going to start doing this and try to see if I can get some serious income out of it. And it's turned out to be pretty doggone lucrative, for the off season from the Hideaway Grill to what I do during the summertime, because the summer months are usually bike rallies and car shows. And so that's kind of where I stack my time now. And it's season coming on now for me, Yeah, it's so that's pretty much what happened, I mean, what the heck,
Yeah. Well, hey, that's great. You got a lot going on now. This is like your busy season with the bike rallies and everything else happening. I know you got some things lined up and planned. What do you got going on?
Yeah, it actually came to the last day of season for me, I think, was yesterday at the Hideaway. And then and I want to say, I appreciate Mark Bradshaw and Rick and all the crew out there. We busted our asses this season and had a great time. And it's kind of like today, I kind of woke up. I'm like, okay, well, here we go for the summer. It's like first day of summer for me. Now it's a new beginning to what I got to do. And so I went looking online. I actually have a show, and I've already known this, but now I'm starting to wrap my head around this deal that I'm doing. I'm leaving actually next Tuesday, not tomorrow, but next Tuesday for Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And there's a rally. It's a spring rally out there, spring motorcycle rally at a place called it's the whole Myrtle Beach rally, spring rally, but at Suck Bang Blow is the name of the place. And they kill it all week. They have music all week long, killer bands all week long. And then my friend Jay Allen that got me into this, to the like travel rally business, if you will, he used to own the Broken Spokes, and it was a rally destination, motorcycle rally destination spot, and killer places. And now he has since sold his Broken Spokes, but he still MCs because that's what he did at his place as well. And I used to work for him back in the day too as a male bartender and yada yada. But anyway, he came into town for the bike week that we just had up at Cave Creek Bike Week and worked at the Hideaway for a couple of days. And he pulled off there and went down to Scottsdale to do the bike week down there. And so he does the show that I'm going to next Tuesday at Suck Bang Blow at Myrtle Beach. He does that the first 5 days. It's pretty killer. He does the first 5 days. So he does Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I fly in on Tuesday. Then I do the last 4 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I fly back home. So that's my first show of the year. And it's pretty cool because they have a Friday night is a Jackal night. Yeah, we get our Jackal on. and those guys always deliver. I mean, it's killer. And then after that, Saturday night is Yellow Wolf, and the place will be jam packed, and people will be jamming, and it's going to be a great show. Yeah, and I got some shows coming up after that. And, well, I'm ready to go, man. I'm amped. I'm ready to hit it.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's always good to keep busy like that. I think that's awesome. Like I said, being able to go out and do what you love to do and get up in front of people. And, you also have the opportunity to get on stage and jam with a lot of the performers too, getting up and singing and kind of doing what you like to do in that sense, where you kind of get that out of your system very quickly, jump up and do a song.
And there's a lot to be said about that too, because I have some friends that play right after Suck Bang Blow. I have some friends that play. I'm on at the August, I think 2nd through the 10th, out at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip Campground. It's a celebration of the 85th Sturgis Motorcycle Rally this year. Okay. And I work out there at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip during the day at a bar that's on the property called the Big Engine Bar. And then at night, I've been blessed enough to go up on the main stage for the past 3 years. This will be my 4th year to kill it on the Wolfman Jack stage. And they have a big amphitheater there, and they get, all the major acts play. So they've had, since I've been there, they've had Styx and Ariel Speedwagon and Jelly Roll and Kid Rock and Def Leppard, and I've been so blessed. Well, before one night, my friends that play around the campground there, they were playing up on the main stage for the first night. And so when they were up there playing, they called me up and they called me out from the back, and I went up and sang, I don't know. I think it was, I sang, Highway to Hell. And when I did AC Highway to Hell, I was on the main stage at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip Campground singing Highway to Hell. And I was like, oh my God. And it was beautiful. And everybody seemed to like it. And that was really cool, So like I said, I'll get back from Suck Bang Blow. I go to, up to Sturgis and do that. This year they got like ZZ Top and Gene Simmons and Jason Aldean, Nickelback, Five Finger Death Punch. Hell yeah, man! So far, Marilyn Manson's going to play. Stone Temple Pilots are jamming this year too up there. So that's just it's killer. Then they have so that gets done on the 10th, and then right after that. August is bomb ass for me because I'll drive home from Sturgis, do my laundry, kiss my beautiful wife, and pet the dog, and I take off right back for Colorado. And they have a thing up there called the Hot Rod Rock and Rumble. It's at the Pikes Peak International Raceway, and it's just like killer. It's a car show. So I go from the bike show from bikes to cars. And then it's kind of like rockabilly music, if you will. And they have like 5 stages. They have like a stage that goes, they have a drag strip at the track, like where pit road would be at a NASCAR track. They turn that into a drag strip. So they put a catwalk on top of there. They have a band playing up there. They have a burnout pit. They have a band playing over there inside the shops. It's called the shop stage. While the shops are, they have a shop stage set up. Bands play there during the day, and then they have a main stage where they're just national acts that are just unbelievable that play there in the rockabilly genre. Like this year, they have the Chop Tops playing on Friday night. I don't know if you've ever heard the Chop Tops, but to see the Chop Tops live, these guys throw it down. They're one of a kind band, and they make it go. And anyway, they have also the Dead South is playing, and they're big in like the Midwest Colorado area. They're going to be drawing just a ton of people, and for that deal, so And one more thing, they have also another stage, man. They take a Winnebago and they cut the side out of the Winnebago, and they put a band inside this Winnebago with a generator on it, and they drive around the track real slow, like 1 mile an hour, if you will. And the band's upright bass, drummer, guitar player, and a singer, and all the microphones are bolted. The mic stands are bolted to the floor, and then the refrigerator in the back. I don't know if the refrigerator works, but it's just killer how they do this. Lights on it and shit, and they just cruise around and you go to all the campsites, and you can, if you're out there camping, or if you're at your car and you guys, a bunch of car clubs, and they'll stop in front of the car club tent, and they'll play a couple of songs and they'll jam and it's unbelievable. It's definitely a good time. I'm offered to do that right at the end of the summer, and then my last rally then is Thunder Valley Rally up in Cottonwood. I don't know if you've ever been to that, but they've had some really killer. Quiet Riot played there, and Warrant played there last year. This year, so far, they have Puddle of Mud scheduled to play, and they have I have an insight on who's going to play, Anton, but for Saturday night, but I can't tell you.
Can't spill it. I get it.
I can't spill the beans on it yet.
I get it. That's all right. We will find out soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good times, man. But yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're really living the dream, and that's great to hear, because a lot of people never get that. A lot of people are not happy in what they're doing. They're kind of doing things to survive, but you really enjoy what you do, and I think that's great. And I think a lot of people will be glad to hear that you are living the dream out there.
Well, I'm loving it. I'm blessed. I'm very happy. I'm very thankful to be doing what I'm doing right now in this point in my life. And yeah, I got to tell you, it's one of those things that if you don't just jump off the curb and make it go, then you're just going to sit back and you're not going to last very long. And I'm very thankful for all the people that helped the Blooze go. Mm-hmm. I'm very thankful for that. I like you said, I am living a dream, and I am very lucky. But I also don't take it for granted. And every time I'm on stage, I give it 110%. If I got that 10% in me, I give it to them, and I leave it there every single show, because you're not given any days, my friend, and life is short. Y'all know that, right? You definitely. We all do.
Know it. Definitely. Well, that's great. That's good to hear. I'm going to ask you two quick questions, because you mentioned doing like things with the motorcycles and things with cars, classic cars. Ideal motorcycle to own for you, an ideal classic vehicle, if you had the opportunity to own, what would it be?
I already own the coolest motorcycle in the world, man. I've had the first Harley I ever bought is Tugboat. Everybody knows Tugboat. It's been in magazines. So nice. If I could buy another one now, I'll tell you what. There was a cat that left the hideaway the other day. It was on Saturday afternoon, and he had a 427 Chevy inside a frame on two wheels, and the thing was a monster.
Wow.
And and I would just, if I could have a dream bike, it would probably be that one that he had, because it was just so cool, And I mean, I have another bike that I can take long distance. I have Tugboat that I could do the bar hop, bar rip out with the boys and ride around. But something like that, man, I would love to have that bike. And a car.
Yeah.
I would like to have, again, I would say a 1969 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, black.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. 1961 split window, maybe bagged up, kind of lowered down a little bit. that would be my dream car right now. I'm not a Ferrari guy. I'm not a Corvette guy. I kind of think that vintage 1969 Cadillac Coupe de Ville would be me all over it, hands down.
Nice. That's awesome. Very good. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, sir. I do appreciate it. Again, a lot of musicians out there really appreciate you, and now they'll get to know you and all the stuff that you're doing and these awesome festivals coming up. So certainly be safe out there. Have a great time. Check back in with us when you return, and maybe we can do this again. So thank you for joining us.
I really thank you a lot for asking me to do this. You know, I was kind of like, me, really? And my wife's like, yeah, you know, come on, you know, you gotta, come on, get out there, make it go. And okay, so I really appreciate you, man. I wish you the best, and I hope you're the next Joe Rogan. Okay,
thank you. I appreciate that. All right, for everybody out there, thank you for joining. This is Living in the Limelight podcast. I'm your host, Anton Scholl. Thank you, Jonnie Tumbleweed, for joining. And again, keep doing what you do, man.
I'll quit rocking when I quit talking, buddy.
There you go. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we will see you on the next episode. Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you for joining our Living in the Limelight podcast with your host, Anton Scholl. Please feel free to comment, like, follow, share, and subscribe. And also add us to your playlist on your favorite streaming sites. Thanks again for joining, and we'll talk to you again next week.